in every link.
Hello. What an astonishing surprise. The man who stood on a stage at Glastonbury and encouraged a whole audience of mostly middle-class twits to repeat after him a death chant, that same person has made fun of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Wow, you could blow me down with a feather that a man who will lead a death chant to a bunch of compliant idiots at one performance is going to try and whip up the same bigoted and cruel message to another audience at another venue. Would you have believed that that could possibly happen? Well, according to this Standard article, he sparked outrage after celebrating the Charlie Kirk assassination, something that Bob Vylan strenuously denies. He said at no point did he celebrate the Charlie Kirk assassination. And you know what? He's right. He didn't celebrate it. He gloried in it. Slight difference. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that when I have told you that I'm granniopteryx. And it would be very nice if you click like on this video. As I say frequently, click it now while your mind's on it, while I'm reminding you. If you don't like the video by the time you've finished watching it, you can always unclick the like. Please share this video and please subscribe to my channel. Go on, click that subscribe button. YouTube seemed to be playing around with my subscription figures, so I could do with the help. Okay, let's get on with talking about Bob Vylan. Okay, so let's start by pointing out that some people have a pattern of behaviour. And in this case, this chap, here he was wearing a very expensive tennis outfit on the stage, and he started telling the audience to chant after him, "Death, death to the IDF." Now, look, you may disagree with what Israel is doing. That's your prerogative. But getting people to chant a death chant, that's messing with people's minds. That's corrupting their souls. And he seems to glory in that. After he had done that, he was in a certain amount of trouble. I think his agent dropped him, that sort of thing. But he's still working and was giving a concert in the Netherlands. It was called the Amsterdam's Paradiso, and a spokesman for the Paradiso said it had an understanding for the artist's anger regarding the violence in Israel, and said the duo clarified in a statement that the "Death to the IDF" chant was not an anti-Semitic slogan, but rather criticism of the Israeli army. Since the Israeli army was the only thing standing between, obviously the only thing standing between Israeli citizens and a bunch of murderous people in Gaza, both Hamas and the average Gazan, then saying "death to the IDF" was definitely anti-Semitic. That's for sure. It was not illegal. People have said it should be illegal. It should not be illegal. I disagree with that completely. But I do think it was anti-Semitic. But it seems to me that Bob Vylan was using it as a vehicle, because it's fashionable to be anti-Semitic now, so he could get the crowd all whipped up, and there'd be this warm feeling that they were all shouting about the same important message and all the rest of it. I'm not sure that he has any feelings one way or the other about Israel, frankly. I can't get inside his mind, so I can't say one way or the other. But it looked to me more like a vehicle for his own personal ambitions than any principle he might have held. Now, the Paradiso is having to make excuses for this particular outrage, and this is even nastier in its way than death to the IDF. Punk grime duo Bob Vylan appeared to mock. This is the standard. It wasn't that he appeared to mock. He mocked. He mocked the death of somebody who did not incite riots, who did not say ever, so far as I'm aware, death to anyone, but was murdered for being on the right. And that's it. There is a political argument. And I'm not so sure that there is actually a right and a left anyway. I would regard it more as a divide between people who say there is a morality. Now, whether you agree with their morality or not is another matter. I'm just saying, people who say there is a morality and who say that life is sacred, and people who don't care about other people's lives at all. Because you see this sort of heartlessness more on the left than you do on the right, don't you? It's happening all the time. And Bob Vylan in that way is not particularly different. So he appeared to mock the assassination. If the person who wrote this, Sean Wilson, he works for the Standard, obviously, because he is writing for the Standard. He said that Bob Vylan appeared to mock the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This appeared to means that unless somebody else stuck that in because of some legal requirement, it looks like Sean Wilson was supporting this heartlessness. Because I don't see how anyone can listen to what Bob Vylan said and not think that it was a mocking of a death. Here, Bobby, real name Pascal Robinson Foster, told revellers, "I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being. That's not mocking. That's just being insulting. And that's not very nice, especially when this will get back to the relatives of the person who's being killed." This is where he was mocking. The pronouns was, were. That is just making... Oh, rats. Just a minute. I'm going to put this onto reader mode. Yeah, not as attractive, but it's not going to jump around. The pronouns was, were. That is mocking a death. And then he says, because if you talk shit, you'll get banged. That's just disrespectful. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of shit. That is an insult to Charlie Kirk's family. This was, were, that was making fun of Charlie himself. Because he knows that Charlie Kirk wouldn't go for silly pronouns, for a start. And secondly, it's making fun of the death. And then he said, if you talk shit, you'll get banged. Banged. That's, dismissing the method whereby he was killed. And then he says, rest in peace. Well, I'm not going to say the rest. I mean, that's a direct insult to Charlie Kirk's surviving relatives. So in every way, he made fun of Charlie Kirk. He belittled the cataclysmic event that had happened to him, and then he insulted the man's family as well. That is a cold-heartedness that's scarcely believable. It just shows an abyss there where his soul should be. I can't believe that anybody could be so nasty. Nasty's not the right word, really, is it? But again, I suspect he was doing it because of the crowd. Again, it's to do with getting the crowd to collaborate with him on something cold and evil for his own personal aggrandizement. Yeah, and here, Amsterdam's Paradiso Club with a Palestinian flag hanging on the stage. And it does not surprise me. Anyone who can be so much on the side of evil that they'll hang a Palestinian flag, you can expect them to say anything about the death of an innocent man who's talking, trying to engage in dialogue with a bunch of students. It is absolutely dreadful to see into that man's soul. Really depressing about humanity, and depressing that people would actually pay to turn up to watch him capering about half naked and speaking evil and dismissive of a murder. There's a chest there with no heart in it. That's horrible to see. All right, well, that's me and Bob Vylan. Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.